We are going
I think.
live. We are live.
Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Are you sure?
Hi, Sarah Buck, Artie, Permafrost. Hello. Oh, welcome. We're on a show that we're doing live. Seth is here. Why are you just laughing at me,
Sarah
David?
is on one today, y'all. This is gonna be so fun.
I'm like, you're a goofball too.
I am.
Thank you,
I walked
sir.
into the house today. She's she's going to the wrong side of the wall for their light switch. Like she doesn't know where she lives.
I was like, where's the? Oh, it's on this side. Like I haven't lived here for like 5-6 years, whatever it's been. Oh my gosh. It's a day.
It's a day.
Hey, let's do something professional.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and we are talking about Survivor Island of the Idols.
Yeah, we are.
But first,
if you are new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, there are links in the description. So we got to talk about this, Jason.
You guys, we had some stuff.
Yeah.
I was singing like an 80-year-old Nana. I didn't realize that's what it sounded like. Thank you very much.
Also drunk singing, apparently.
Yes. No, I'm in a Christmas spirit. I was just reviewing Hallmark Christmas movies. I'm all sort of worked up. But yes, Jason left us in a very interesting way.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult way for him to go. He obviously is like, whoa, okay. Throw him for a loop kind of a thing, you know?
But honestly, I think it's a great way to go. In the world of Survivor, don't you want like a cool exit?
Sort of like an iconic exit.
I mean, you don't want to leave ever. You don't ever want to be voted out.
No.
So like that part is always going to stink.
Mm-hmm.
So go some fun way.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, I think this is better than going to Rocks.
I agree.
If that was ever an option. I don't know if it was ever an option.
God. Everyone likes to throw that around like, yeah, we're going to go to Rocks. Yeah, right. I think when push comes to shove, it's rare for a reason because people don't want to do that, you know?
Yes.
They don't want to leave their chances in Survivor up to like pure chance.
Of course. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Malachi, Permafrost, Carmen, Kimberly. Thank you so much for joining. There was a lot of interesting discussion online this week about, like, some people were very upset that Jason left.
Yeah, saying he didn't do anything wrong. He played such a good game. The Vokais were on top, and, like, Elaine just got lucky, and she got this advantage, and it's not fair. And I'm like...
Okay, that leads me to want a much larger conversation about reality shows and like, with that.
What does fair mean on a reality show?
What does fair mean? What is fair on a reality show? Nothing is fair. Like, you can't say something is not fair.
Yeah, and it's not like some people were piling on Elaine a little bit, and Listen. We are maybe her number 1 and 2 fans.
Look,
okay, we love Elaine.
We have fun with it.
We have fun
with it.
But people were piling on her a little bit about, like, she deserved to go. You know, she just got lucky. She should not have been given this advantage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they didn't invent Island of the Idols this week and decide to just give it to Elaine and give her this advantage.
No.
That's the twist of the season, okay? It's happened every week except for one, I think.
Yep.
And so that's just part of the game this season. So I get it. Sometimes people don't like the twists.
Yeah.
But that's the twist that we have this season. And so you got to sort of adjust how you're looking at the game based on that being a part of it.
I also just don't even know how I feel about the word twist. Because people love to be like, I hate the twists.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a twist? You know what? This season of Survivor, it's called Island of the Idols.
That's
and
the
rules the guidelines are these things. Someone goes to the Island of the Idols, they may win an advantage. Like, I don't know that that's a twist.
Yeah.
In my world, that's just the rules that we're living by this now.
Season, right. And she wasn't handed the advantage.
She wasn't.
She had to, like, get it without anybody seeing. It was like a task that she had to complete. It wasn't just like, go to the island and then you get this block of vote. She actually had to, like, do something and strategize a little bit and hide it from people. And
they all have had to do something, and some of them have not gotten their advantage.
Right. Yeah. Look at Nora.
I do feel like Okay, we've also talked about how, like, someone's name is pulled out of a bag.
Yes.
We don't see it,
We
so
have
we
been
don't
suspicious.
know.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are some times where you're like, was that set
Was Vince's
up?
name really pulled out of that bag?
Right.
'Cause we didn't see it.
But the way Elaine was chosen, we saw how that went down.
Mm-hmm.
The group picked someone to sit out. It could have easily been Lauren. Lauren has had to sit out of a few challenges.
Yeah.
So easily could have been Lauren.
Yeah.
It was chosen that it was Elaine. Then they're told that person's going to Island of the Idols.
Right.
So the producers didn't know who was going.
Right.
We got to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is how it all unfolded.
Yeah.
So again, I don't understand, like, fair versus unfair. Like, this is just the rules that we were given in this episode, too.
To me, it's sort of, people talk about the Survivor gods a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and this is an example of that. Like, the Survivor gods were just not on Jason's side. Elaine got this advantage, and she earned it. She did what she had to do to earn this advantage, and, I don't know. It's just, it's funny to me when people are like, this isn't fair. I'm like, well...
No, it's called reality TV.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't think anything is fair.
I think if we played Survivor, like, purely... fairly every single season, it would just be the same every season.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite parts about the show is that they do try to mix it up every season and do something different. So
I do believe that because we had a tribe of equal 4 and 4,
mm-hmm.
that the producer said, ooh, cool, let's do a block of vote then.
Yeah.
Like, that does mix it up a little differently than an idol would have.
Yeah.
But that's as far as that went.
Mm-hmm.
I think then, had Lauren sat out, and Lauren gone to Island of the Idols, and then Lauren got the advantage, we would be talking about a completely different week.
Absolutely.
And that isn't any more fair or more deserving than what happened.
Yeah.
What does deserve mean? Like, who deserves something and who doesn't?
I also,
I
want to dig into Jason's game a little bit because
Let's do it.
People are talking about how... he didn't make any mistakes. He was playing such a good game. I want to rewind to like day one of the game.
Wait, someone said he didn't make mistakes?
They were like, he didn't do anything wrong. I saw some comments like that online. And I'm like, well, let's look at the whole game.
At this point.
Right.
But again, what's right and wrong? You're just judging someone's game.
Yeah.
But yes, I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Day one, right? He gets off the boat. And lies about what he does for a living. And everyone knows that he's lying.
He didn't lie well.
And then, this is like some of the stuff that, I don't know if we saw it on the show, that specifically, but he's saying this in exit interviews.
Yes.
And then what we did see on the show was when he's like away from camp kind of searching for an idol and he gets busted.
Yeah.
Like he lost everybody's trust on day one of this game. Mm-hmm. And in his exit interviews, he was talking about how devastating that was for him. And I'm sure it would be for anybody who gets onto Survivor finally and has a chance to play. And then all of a sudden, nobody in the game trusts you and you feel like target number one from everybody on your tribe. Like, that's devastating. But that's an example of sort of how he didn't play a perfect game of Survivor. Let's not forget.
Right. And again, no one's going to play a perfect game. So let's not throw words around like, someone deserves it and someone does it. Because Jason was a super fan. He came in and had one of the worst first days anyone can have.
Yeah.
And he had to, crawl his way out of this hole. So we have talked in past videos about how, we really loved how he was working his way up.
Yes.
The things he was doing, I then called him a possible winner because he was playing so well.
Yes.
I mean, yes. So let's definitely give him props for that. And let's feel really bad that he got out.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
All of that, yes.
Yes.
But this is the way the cookie crumbles.
That's right.
I was also upset when Chelsea got out for no good reason.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good reason for voting Chelsea out. I would have loved to have seen her play longer, but I can't say that Karishma deserved to go before Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah. Another thing that I liked about Jason's game is, we were talking about how he seemed really smart. He's good at puzzles. He's navigating these relationships from the bottom, which was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
But I loved how he teamed up with Nora because I think Nora, and you said, I think in our last video, Nora is an excellent player to have in your pocket.
Yes.
And there was actually more to their relationship than we saw on the show because it turns out he dated her cousin.
He dated her cousin, you guys. Yes, I love in Survivor how we get to hear their story as soon as they're voted out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can do press and we can hear more about it. But what was interesting, so we saw how his first day was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Nora's, it was more like her third day that people were like, oh, we're over Nora.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite day one. But because everyone had already like shoved him to the side day one.
Yeah.
By that first night, Jason was just like, oh, and Nora was the only one willing to talk to him. And he said, now outside of the game, he said, we talked the whole night. Like, we bonded, we became very close. And then, day 2 or 3, they find out that he dated her cousin.
Yeah. He was like, I once dated someone with, like, a weird name. Like, I don't know what her last name is, but it turns out that she's related to that person.
Yes.
So I was like, this is what's going on, right? It's just like reminding me of BB21 where we're like, how many pairs are there? Because we've already seen Dean and Kelly share a mutual friend, his ex, her best friend, or her like business school friend or something. And now Jason and Nora, I'm like, are there going to be other pairs of people who potentially know each other?
Literally, it is very difficult to cast people who don't know each other, apparently. Apparently, that's true.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Yeah. So Jason and Nora did start really, really close. He said though that like over time, they weren't like each other's number one allies anymore.
Sure.
But now that they had done the swap, he was obviously in a better place.
Yeah.
They're getting along, and the 4 of them are like, 4 strong, 4 strong, 4 strong.
Yes.
Here's what's very interesting that we learned after Jason left is that going into this tribal, they were not planning to vote out Elaine.
Elaine was not the target, you guys. It was Aaron.
They were going to vote to get Aaron out.
Yeah, 4 strong to
were
get
blindsiding Aaron because they thought they had Aaron and Missy at least willing to vote Elaine out.
Yep.
So the 4 of them had decided to flip, write down Aaron's name, and then so they'd have 4 votes of Aaron, 2 to maybe 3 for Elaine. Elaine would have her 1 vote to like probably Jason or whatever. Yeah. And they were going to vote out Aaron.
Yes.
Like we didn't even know this.
What's great is that these Vokais kind of like sniffed Aaron and Missy out, right? So Jason was explaining that Aaron and Missy came on real strong. Like, actually, he said, like, even at the Applebee's feast where they're, like, drinking their shark bowls and having their surf and turf and whatever, they could tell that the Lyros are fractured because they were saying, we just blindsided Dean.
They're talking smack about Karishma.
Right. And, of course, they're fractured because the Lyro tribe has been to a lot more tribals than Vokai has. Right. So there's, like, more sort of, tension between those tribe members.
Yes.
But Jason's just like, we can see the cracks. Like, we know that they're not as united as we are.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, then Aaron and Missy come in and they're like, oh, we're ready to flip. Yeah. We are not going to rocks. Like, let's get Elaine out.
We don't need Elaine.
And rightfully so. I think Jason and the rest of these Vokais are like, why are they so insistent that Elaine is the target?
Right. I mean, that's going to make you question.
Yeah.
And that's the smart thing to do is question. So obviously at first, you get this information from Missy and Aaron and you're like, oh, okay, great. We're voting out Elaine. Yeah. Easy vote. Done. Yeah. Awesome. We get to stay 4 strong. But then, as the days go on, you see that Aaron and Missy really are playing aggressively.
Yeah.
And you start to question, why? So if they don't really like Elaine or need Elaine, can we use that to our advantage?
Right.
Like, why would we just do what they want us to do? So the wheels start to spin, and from Jason's retelling, that those 4 had plenty of things to vote out either Aaron or Missy.
Yeah.
They didn't really consider Elizabeth too much because she had been to Island of the Idols, and they didn't know if she had an idol. So they kind of just like, whatever. So they're looking at Missy and Aaron. Everyone's got reasons for either. He says it really came down to Lauren wanting to keep Missy.
Yeah, as sort of an ally, right? Like
that's interesting.
Yeah, Lauren, which, we saw that in the episode. Lauren and Missy did seem to connect, but like Lauren apparently was very insistent, like, no, I think I got Missy. And so that's kind of why they settled on Aaron. And the additional part of why I really like this plan that the Vokais had cooked up to get Aaron out was that they not only blindside Aaron and get him out, but they also show Elaine, look, Missy voted for you. Potentially Elizabeth voted for you too. They're showing Elaine through this whole plan that her own tribe is turning on her.
Oh, yeah.
The 4 Vokais didn't cast 1 vote for her, but now all of a sudden they go back to camp and they're like, you're Elaine, come over with us. We weren't targeting you.
To. Yeah, I mean, she'd have to. She'd obviously be upset that her OG tribe members turned on her.
Yeah.
And she's still in the game.
Yeah,
They didn't get their way.
Uh-huh.
So she's going to be like, she'd be screwed because she'd be at the bottom of this like new Vokai group.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You're just going to be angry at this point and like waiting to get to emerge so you can get back to like your Tom. Except Tom's not there anymore.
Yeah, right. I know.
She'd be totally
so,
screwed.
in a way, people are saying Elaine got so lucky with this advantage, but really she was never unlucky because she was never the target. And now she doesn't even know, really, that people on her own tribe were plotting against her, potentially.
Right.
She kind of is living in this, like, ignorant bliss of, like, yeah, Aaron and Missy are on my side, when in reality, they were going behind her back and throwing her name out.
Right.
So, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at things, I think.
Yeah. Well, now that, like, Lauren has been screwed, Tommy has been screwed, they can easily talk to Elaine about that.
Yeah.
And be like, the plan was. This is what we were gonna do.
FYI.
But so because Elaine was like, hey guys, I have a Blanca vote.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The whispering that was happening was what Jason was saying was really us being like, oh shoot, we gotta back that bus up.
Yes.
We can no longer vote out Aaron. We need to go back to the plan of voting out Elaine because in their minds, they were still hoping that Aaron and Missy were still planning on writing down Elaine's name.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing they could hope for is that we got to go back to that.
Obviously, our plan for voting for Aaron is like off the table now. So like pivot, like go back to Elaine, and hopefully we'll still have Aaron and Missy on our side and we can get majority, Elaine and get her out. But that was their best play at that time. They just didn't have those relationships built up.
Yeah.
And so, Jason's gone.
Jason's gone. Again, we love Jason. We're sad about this.
Yeah.
But, like, this is how justice happens. Mm-hmm. This cast is so good. I mean, honestly, tell me, out of these 8 people sitting in this tribal, who deserves to go and who doesn't?
I know.
None of them.
Right.
They're all so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for maybe Dan.
Yeah.
So, let's talk, speaking of sketchy Dan.
Yeah.
Something else we didn't see in this edit was Jason played a fake idol. Yes. Let's back the story up.
Back up to when Nora went off to Island of the Idols and comes back. And apparently her disaster of a return from Island of the Idols was like 20 times worse in person than it was on the show.
Uh-huh.
Jason said that, she was practicing the calling and doing a horrible job, and we saw, Dan stub his toe and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Jason kind of was trying to coach her, and he said that she was deliberately like messing things up when he was trying to coach her, and it felt like she was trying to ruin it for him or something. I don't know. It just felt like a whole big mess of a, practicing being the caller situation, even worse than we saw. But then she also made a fake idol, brought it back. Dan, and Dan is like the pickpocket of this season, like always in somebody's bag. He pulled it out and she was like, oh, I made that. It's fake.
Yeah, so she had to come clean that she, like, made this fake idol because Dan pulls it out and, like, calls her out on it. Again, what? Dan, what?
I know.
So we have this fake idol in the mix. So Jason takes the fake idol.
Because he thinks maybe it's good for whoever ends up being the caller. So
well,
maybe it's
he was
good
hoping.
For me. Right,
he was like, okay, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I'm in a pickle of a place right now.
Yeah.
So he takes this fake idol, said that he was hoping magically it turned, because he was the caller, that maybe it magically became an idol. Right. So he like hands it to Jeff and he's like, I'm playing an idol. And Jeff's like, no, sit down, buddy. Yeah. No, this isn't an idol. So that was interesting that none of that was even shown.
Yeah.
Because it is a little complicated. They were like, we don't have time for this.
Right.
But that's hilarious that Nora made a fake idol and then Jason tried to play it.
I know. And the producers are like, we're not even wasting our time on this. It's like way too complicated to explain how he got this fake idol and like what things are. So, and then I also want to talk about the timing of Elaine playing the advantage, because I'm not clear. Like, I've seen some talk about, like, she pulled it before the vote instead of after the vote. Would that have changed things? But I'm just curious if we missed any rule that explained when she had to play it. And, like, would things have happened differently if she had waited to play it? I think potentially they would have.
I don't know that they would have, because if everyone voted as they planned, that means we were going to have 4 votes against Aaron.
Okay.
And the 4 Lyra, though, they know Elaine's going to play this block of vote.
Yeah.
So their plan was already to switch over to Jason.
And they were already staying strong.
So,
right?
So we have 4 for Aaron and 4 for Jason. And then if they found out, one of these is going to be blocked, that means we just go down to 3 for Aaron. So that is interesting, because Aaron would have stayed and they would have been like,
Yep.
But it doesn't change the fact that Jason would have still
gone. It still would have been 4 Jason. It just would have been 3 Aaron instead of 3 Elaine if she had played it after the votes. Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why she played it in the middle of the tribal.
Yeah.
Maybe it said, and we just missed it, that she had to play it before they cast votes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Because either way, 4 OG Vokai were not going to get their way with their votes.
Yeah. Well, I thought one of the, most interesting parts of all of Jason's, like, exit interview press was he was talking about how he sort of went in wanting to be, like, this strategic mastermind, and, people on the island were already comparing him to Fishback, who's, like, legendary strategist on Survivor. And, he had that kind of archetype of being like a nerdy gamer.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he lost everybody's trust on day 1, he had to start focusing on building one-on-one relationships. And he explained that he did that by, like, pulling people aside individually after day 1 and being like, I know that I made people uncomfortable by, leaving for too long. I'm sorry. Like, he just apologized and was vulnerable and sort of human. And then that was, like, a basis for building new relationships with people. And he talked about how, like I said, he wanted to go in playing strategy, and then he realized the importance of relationships in Survivor. And I think that is, like, just, it maybe is more important to just have that bond with people and have them trust you than to go in, like, and this is what Jason said in his exit interviews, like, wanting to, like, cut people's throats and making the big moves and stuff like that. Because I think, at the end of the day, part of the problem and part of the reason that Jason was targeted was maybe that he didn't do enough work on the relationships with the new people in the tribe.
Right.
He just saw these fractured Lyros and thought, I don't really have to talk to Elaine or Elizabeth. Maybe if he had personal relationships, they wouldn't have targeted him.
Yeah, I think because he had worked so hard to, like, get in with his Vokai group, and then they have this swap, and he's got these 4 people, and so, like, he's like, I just have got to show loyalty to this 4. Like, God forbid they think that I am at all talking to these other people. He said that he, by all appearances, was like 4 strong, 4 strong, 4 strong.
Yeah.
And so that he thought maybe that contributed to Elaine and any of them being like, there is no way he's going to work with us. He should go. That was his guess or his thinking.
Sure. Yeah.
And it does make sense that he would just be like, no, I'm not shady.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Remember, I worked so hard to get in with you? We're all good.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you just don't know. Again, I'm not going to call it a twist, but, like, you just don't know what's around the next corner.
That's right.
And what might come up.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Elaine could have played an idol. I know.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, speaking of what's coming up around the corner, should we talk about the tease for next week's episode? There wasn't a whole lot of substance. It was like a 20-second tease that I saw. But it's a lot of people, like, throwing their hands in the air during challenges. Jack seems very frustrated at certain points.
Like they just don't care?
Like, no, they're, like, mad.
That was David. Come on.
Yes, sorry. Yes, throwing their hands in the air like they just don't care. That's what I meant.
No.
And then there's a soundbite that I love to hear in a tease. Jeff saying, we've never had a tribal like this, ever. I don't know who's at tribal.
How could that even be?
I know.
I feel like we've seen it all.
Right.
But no, probably not.
No.
Probably not. This cast is so good. Like, of course it's going to be something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we lost Molly too soon.
Oh my
gosh. Lost Chelsea too soon.
Yes.
Like, it's just, we lost Jason too soon.
Yeah.
They're all great players.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to hit jury and be like, oh yeah, but we loved all of pre-jury.
Right.
Like,
I know.
This is insane.
Yeah, I think it's a great cast.
I want to ask you guys about this, like, fair versus unfair, like, who deserves. I want to know how you guys feel about Jason going when seemingly, why would he go?
Sure.
But we had a block of vote to play. Like, I want to hear your opinions, so please let us know about that.
Yeah.
What was the other thing I was going to say, though?
Oh, was it?
While you guys were gonna type that, I was gonna say.
You were gonna say something about next week, a tribal we've never seen before.
Well,
maybe.
Do you guys think it's gonna be Lyra or Vokai?
Oh yeah.
Also, I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Because, gosh, I have to think it's Lyra.
Where are the idols nowadays? Who has an idol? Does anyone? Chelsea left with an idol. Vince left with an idol.
Kelly has hers.
Okay. So that could,
But is that it?
But that's
Elizabeth
not like a
does
tribal
not.
like we've never seen. Elizabeth does not have an idol. Dan doesn't, does he?
No. I mean, how long are we going to keep Dan around? Come on, people.
I know. I'm surprised that he hasn't been a bigger target for people, but I guess it's maybe just about timing.
Leslie is asking about The Amazing Race. It will air at the beginning of the new year. I don't know exactly. I don't think they've said the date exactly, but sometime in the winter, spring, it will air.
Yeah.
And I have heard that they are casting the next season. So that's good news because the next season is not officially picked up.
Yeah.
But if they're casting, then
that's a good sign.
That is a good sign that it's probably going to happen because we are also missing The Amazing Race.
And
for
Celebrity Big Brother, I think, is officially canceled, so that won't be airing in the January, February time.
Celebrity Big Brother is definitely canceled, and you guys, I know Julie has been tweeting some crazy stuff, and it just keeps going and it keeps going, and I don't like it has to be All Stars, like it has to. Why is she just? She's either lost her mind because she doesn't have the talk anymore, or we're having some sort of special episode. But from I only have a little connection, but my connection says no one is producing it. Like there's no staff happening. And the other people who have connections, like Rob has a podcast and Hamster Watch, and like those people also say their connections say there's no All Stars in the works. So it's very confusing on why she's still tweeting stuff about past players. Maybe she's just going to do like a new talk show, like her own version of a Big Brother talk show or something, and she's going to have these people on. I don't know.
Guests.
I'm just telling you. Calm it down because I don't think we're going to get an All-Stars. I
wish we were, though.
I know. Me too. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so what do people say?
Desiree says Jason was the most threatening for a win. I agree. He was definitely up there.
Yeah.
Fred saying Jason would have been your choice, but for what? To leave or to stay or to win or to go or to what? Liam wants Chelsea to come back. I agree. She's so good.
Yeah, I did like her.
Pixie is saying it was fair to me as Vokai was winning everything. It was time for the Lyra peeps to get something. Yeah, I mean, kind of, this is one of the rare times that Vokai is like, ooh, we're not in a great place.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Seth is saying that saying it's unfair is so dumb. Elaine worked for the advantage. It's true. She won it fair and square. Dan, get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say it quite like that, but I would definitely be sketched out by him.
Yeah.
Leslie's saying it's a reality show. There's no such thing as fair. I agree.
Me too.
Ben is wondering who was the first out of Edge of Extinction. David, do you know who was out?
Who was that?
Bring it up every stream. Yeah. Bring it up every stream. I love it. And David's not going to say it just to keep you hanging.
That's right. Keep asking.
I love it. Oh, wait. Does Jamal have an idol?
Okay, yes. Green Asian sensation Garnet says Jamal and Kelly have idols.
He found one. That's right.
Because they left him on the beach alone.
That's
and
right.
And then he went out into the jungle and he found that idol. I forgot about that.
That's right. Thank you for reminding us of that. The guy who spoke to Jack last week has one. Okay, that's probably Jamal.
Yes, that's Jamal.
Oh, do you see Jovi? Yep, now she's laying down.
There she is. My Jovi.
She likes to enter frame at times. Shifika, you heard that players were implying that they were invited. They just probably want to get in the limelight. It is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Janet, where's our Janet?
I know, I want more Janet. I know.
She's out there just making waves for women left and right.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
She has definitely been low key though. Like lower key than Dean at this point.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Have they not shown us like a few good things about her? We'd all just be like, what's Janet?
Who's
doing?
Janet?
Yeah. Like we were with Dean. Yeah. All right. So you guys agree with us.
Yes.
There's no such thing as fair. Could have completely been a different thing had Lauren been told to sit out.
That's right.
They would have for sure gotten Aaron out then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If that was their plan.
Oh, 100%.
Lauren would have blocked somebody's vote, whoever.
Yeah. Aaron's probably.
They would have done Aaron and...
Done.
Aaron and Missy probably would have done Elaine just looking like idiots.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that would have been that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, I'm not frustrated. I'm
fine with it.
Consider this any different than someone playing an idol.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of how Survivor goes.
It's just, yeah, sometimes votes go like this. So, you know.
And especially when you have a great cast from the beginning, you're going to be disappointed about people exiting so early.
That's right. But there are a lot of good people left.
There's a lot of good people left, and I'm going to be mad about plenty of other people who are going to be out.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the merge because I want to start seeing individual immunity.
Yes. I think we still have a few weeks for that, though, right?
We got to have at least a couple, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, we will be back on Thursday for Wednesday night's recap.
That's right.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you then.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
The stream's over.
Bye.